Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Last time, I talked about the importance of body language and recognizing the cues that we and others send out. It's either consciously or unconsciously. It's so important to pick up on those cues and recognize and evaluate situations based on others' body language. In that same vein, I actually wanted to share a few thoughts this time on the importance of first impressions. And we've all heard the notion and that old saying of you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Now, first impressions are so important, and it certainly, most definitely ties into what I talked about in the last couple episodes of body language. Reading body language, we give off signals, others give off cues and signals, and so we've got to be able to read those, but also recognize that we too are sending off cues and signals, and we need to make sure that we are authentic in terms of what we are communicating. And so first impressions certainly play a role in that, because once we make an impression on someone, whether that be in a professional situation, whether it be in business, in the workplace, in terms of your career, relationships with prospective significant others, family members, relatives, also in just strangers and other people that you may meet just kind of on the street or in some type of happenstance interaction that you may have with a person. So first impressions are important. Think about that. How many relatives or how many friends have you had where they'll have a significant other, and then whether that be their own family members meet them for the first time, or sometimes in some cases the in-laws will meet them for the first time, and they just basically get turned off by the person. Negative, what is that? Negative first impression. And so if it's one thing, if one person, you kind of create a negative first impression with one person, but it's another thing if it's more than one person or entire group or entire family of people. And so it's incredibly important that we recognize the role of first impressions in terms of our ultimate success or failure in any given situation or scenario. Because it is true, oftentimes if someone makes a disastrous first impression, it can be very tough to rebound that, but it can certainly be done. It will just require a set of subsequent interactions that are very positive, that are very productive, to kind of turn that initial first impression around. Okay, but on conversely, someone makes a disastrous and a very bad initial impression, for that person to have then subsequent interactions with another individual, group, or person that are also equally as bad and horrible and disastrous, it will be almost impossible for that person to ever rebound from that, because we make other people make first impressions on us, and we tend to, as human beings, size people up pretty quickly in a matter of seconds, and minutes or seconds in some cases. Anyone who does professional speaking, one thing you'll learn, and one thing that's so important for those of you who do it, if you don't recognize this already, is that audience members will make judgments about a speaker within a matter of seconds. When that person steps on the stage or that person steps in front of that podium and starts the first few words out of his or her mouth, members of that audience will decide in a matter of seconds. Research and studies have shown that. Is this person worth listening to? Am I wasting my time? Have I wasted my money with this? Their mind will start to go other places, and so it's very important in terms of creating that and establishing that first impression, and making sure that the audience finds you credible, worth listening to, and someone that they, has credibility and that they respect, and will certainly listen to you and be open to what you're saying. But that type of judgment happens in a matter of seconds. And I know, as I mentioned in a prior episode, I had a professor in Louisiana, one of my undergraduate professors. Even though I was a public relations major, she strongly encouraged me to get into broadcast journalism so I could become an anchor. And as I said before, I kind of looked at those salaries and it was like, no, that's okay. I would have had to start out in a small market and move around and all of that. That just was not the path that was right for me. And I'm certainly glad I didn't take that path now, even though it's a wonderful profession. But she told me that she worked with me in terms of developing my voice, and, told me, Rachelle, we've got to, you have what it takes to have a commanding presence. So when you walk on stage, when you get in front of a microphone, when you start speaking, you have the presence that will command attention. And so I'm going to develop that for you. I'm going to help you kind of continue to leverage that and teach you on kind of strategies and different subtle things you can do. Okay, your voice. She worked on me with my voice. And that's huge in terms of creating an impression when I'm speaking. Okay, does my voice, communicate confidence and credibility and authority? Or does it, you know, in often cases with some speakers, and particularly those who don't have a lot of experience or they're just starting out, can communicate kind of uncertainty and doubt and fear and insecurity. And then your credibility in a matter of seconds will be lost with the audience. So it's things like that, first impressions. You may be a salesperson looking to make a sale, and you're interacting with a person or perhaps even a couple or a family or a group of buyers. If it's, you know, you have a corporate client, okay, and they're making that initial impression that you make on those individuals. Is a salesperson trustworthy? Or are they not? Do they know their stuff? Do they not know their stuff? Are they going to try to cheat us or rip us off? Or are they not? Are they good people of integrity and credibility? So they too will read your body language and kind of watch your actions and your verbal communication and create and basically kind of size you up and come up with this impression that you make on them. And your ability to succeed in terms of making a sale or making subsequent sales is so, so important and so basically aligned with what you are communicating, the impression that you're making. From a relationship standpoint, okay, your initial first impression, if someone can decide to be interested in you and not interested in you, and in terms of your body language, what you're communicating, how you approach the person, that is so important. Are you approaching them as someone that is basically creepy and kind of off the wall and scary? You know, I mean, this kind of stuff happens all the time, you know, to people. So first impressions are so important in terms of making progress and moving things further along in any and every aspect of our lives. Because like I said before, you can make a positive impression and then have some subsequent positive impressions, good to go, perfect. But make a very bad one and then ultimately have some really good ones, can rebound from that, but have some very bad ones, and just the person will, you know, you'll never be able to rebound from that. Perfect example, in my gym here in Novi, and Saturday, July 16th. Perfect example. It kind of came to a head on this day, but a couple months ago, maybe even 2-3 months ago, there was a new lady in this gym. And I was actually on the assisted dip chin machine, which of course requires a lot of focus and a lot of kind of, you know, attention to what you're doing. So I had my headphones in, I'm on the assisted dip chin machine in the middle of my first set. And there's a lady a couple machines over, and she's on the seated abduction machine, hip abduction machine. So then I'm in the middle of my set, and this lady comes up to me and interrupts me and says, how much longer are you going to be on this machine? And I thought to myself, now what is this? Are they resurrecting the show Candy Camera? Am I going to be on an episode? Someone please tell me. So anyway, and so I pulled out my headphones, of course, you know, and explained to her, look, I just got on this machine. I'm going to be on it for another couple of minutes. Then you're free to have it, you know, because I understand and I saw that you were already on another machine, you know. So anyway, so that was that machine. That was that interaction. So, you know, when someone interrupts you in the middle of a set, it's just, you know, in terms of creating a positive impression, it's just not going to happen, because that's just a big no-no. But I knew that she was a gym newbie. You could tell she's brand new, didn't have a clue about etiquette. So, hey, we give you a free pass because you're brand new, and so you don't know some of these little nuances that happen in the gym. So that was, what, 2.5, 3 months ago. Can't remember exactly when. But it kind of came back around Saturday, July 16th. I'm on the tall bike next to the track with my headphones in, with a book in my hand. Focusing on my book. Yeah, it was great, whatever. And so I didn't have a clue that she was in there, even there. I didn't have a clue where she was. This lady comes up to me while I'm on the bike from behind and on the side, comes up next to me and stands next to me and starts talking. And I'm sitting here like, and I look over like, okay, clearly, once again, am I on Candy Camera? Am I being set up here? Like, what is this? You know, it's bad enough this lady made one faux pas before, and now we're getting ready to have a second subsequent interaction that's just going to continue to make my perception of her and her impression on me bad. So she's talking, and folks, she's telling me, oh, she's been divorced twice, and even though she's had 2 failed marriages, she knows that you know, God has the man for her. He could be in the gym right there. He could be in the grocery store. He could be at her church. He could be anywhere. And she is going to be ready when she comes across his path. And I'm sitting here like, what is this? I have no clue who this lady is. And she's coming up to me, telling me this mess. I was just sitting there like, what is this? I'm just telling you. And I just, you know, I listened to this for about 90 seconds. And it was just, at that point, it's just unacceptable. Because she's talking and I'm looking down at the book. And so whatever. See, she can't read body language and just has kind of no clue about gym etiquette. So perfect example of that. So anyway, listened to about 90 seconds, shut it on down and gave her a look that communicated, don't ever do this to me again. And, I didn't want to hurt the lady's feelings because clearly, she's looking for acceptance. She's looking for approval and, she's looking for a man to love her. And so, but that has nothing to do with me and my workouts at the gym. I'm not there to be anybody's therapist. And so gave her a look that communicated I've not had any more issues since. And it was kind of funny after that happened, after I got off the bike and I was walking around to go back to the stretch area. There's actually 3 people that knew me from Bally. So they're all on ellipticals. They work out together on Saturday. So they're all on ellipticals and I didn't know, they're watching me from behind. They're watching this and they're like, Rachelle, we saw you. We were wondering like, what in the world is going on? And I said, this lady's over here telling me all her problems. Like, what is this? This is the gym. If you want to get fit, I promise you're not going to get fit walking around talking to people and telling other people your problems like this. You need to be directing and channeling that energy to what you should be doing and it's focused on your workout. So anyway, they were laughing at me. It was funny. They just were like, Rachelle, we saw it. We read your body language from afar. It was very clear what you thought of that situation. So recognize. And guess what? So one bad impression, interrupted me again, another bad impression. So at that point, my perception of that person and their impression on me is forever marred. And so there won't be another third time, I assure you, after that. I know that look communicated exactly what I thought and how I felt about being interrupted, particularly on a cardio machine. So recognize that we have the potential to succeed or to fail based on the impression that we're making on other people. So it's so important when we're approaching strangers, when we're dealing with people that we don't know well in the workplace, on the street, in the grocery store, in gyms, in business, whatever, in our relationships, if we're just starting out, these first few interactions are so important. So we need to communicate respect. We need to be communicating in tune to body language and recognize, is this person busy? Do they want to be bothered? Do they not want to be bothered? Do they look open? What is their body language reflecting right now? Because it is so hard to overcome a very bad initial first impression. And so it's so important that we play our part to create positive first impressions for other people, but that we also recognize that others too are trying to do the same thing, and they may just make many, many, many faux pas. In some cases, if they're clueless, forgive them and wait for that second or subsequent interaction and then make your judgment. But as in my case, the judgments, those in the gym scenario will continue to be negative, but I had to shut it down. So recognize that happens. I'm open and I'm transparent for a reason in my life because I want you to learn from me and recognize you could be sabotaging yourself, sabotaging potential deals, sabotaging potential raises, advancement opportunities, job opportunities, relationship opportunities, volunteering opportunities, board and community leadership opportunities based on the impression that you're making on other people. And that's totally something that you have the ability to control. So I thank you so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.